Have you ever wondered how the world's greatest ship disappeared into the abyss? The Titanic. Her name alone sends shivers down the spine, even after more than a century. She was the epitome of human ambition, a marvel of engineering, a testament to the power of progress. Born from the minds of the most brilliant engineers of their time, and crafted by thousands of skilled workers, she was hailed as the Unsinkable Ship, a title that today drips with tragic irony. The Titanic was, in every sense, larger than life. She stretched nearly 900 feet from bow to stern, a floating city capable of carrying more than 3,000 passengers. Her size, however, was not her only impressive feature. She was a palace of the sea, boasting the kind of luxury that would turn even the most opulent of today's cruise ships green with envy. From the grand staircase to the first-class suites, she was designed to impress, and impress she did. The expectations for her maiden voyage were sky-high. She was set to traverse the Atlantic, from Southampton, England, to New York City, America. A journey that would mark her place in history as the largest and most luxurious ship to ever cross the Atlantic. How could such a grand vessel, thought to be unsinkable, meet such a tragic end? The Titanic was a symbol of human achievement, a beacon of hope and progress, but she was also a stark reminder of the hubris of man, a lesson in humility that would echo through the ages. She set sail on her ill-fated journey on April 10, 1912. More than 2,200 souls were aboard, each with their own dreams, hopes, and stories. Little did they know their voyage would become one of the most infamous in history. The Titanic set sail on April 10, 1912, with over 2,200 people on board, unaware of the fate that awaited them. The Titanic's voyage, which started with pomp and grandeur, soon turned into a tragic journey. On April 10, 1912, the Titanic, a marvel of human engineering, set sail from Southampton, England, bound for New York City. The ship carried over 2,000 passengers and crew, a microcosm of early 20th century society, from the elite of the elite to hopeful immigrants dreaming of a better life in the United States. The first few days of the voyage were uneventful, as the Titanic glided through calm seas under clear skies. The passengers reveled in the ship's opulence, oblivious to the danger that lay ahead. 4 days into the journey, the weather began to change. The clear skies gave way to a bitter cold, and the calm seas turned icy. Despite receiving multiple iceberg warnings from other ships, the Titanic pressed on, its engines roaring at nearly full speed. On the night of April 14th, the unthinkable happened. A lookout spotted an iceberg dead ahead, but it was too late. The Titanic, a ship touted as unsinkable, collided with the iceberg. The impact was catastrophic, tearing open the ship's hull and allowing icy water to flood into the lower decks. Panic ensued as the reality of the situation sunk in. Lifeboats were launched, but there were not enough to accommodate everyone. The women and children first policy left many men stranded on the sinking ship. As the Titanic tilted at a precarious angle, the band played on, a haunting melody that echoed through the cold night air. The lights flickered, then went out, leaving the ship in darkness as it began its final descent. In the early hours of April 15th, the Titanic, once considered unsinkable, sank beneath the waves. The sinking of the Titanic was not just a disaster, it was a catastrophe that shook the world. The aftermath was a dark and chilling scene of despair. The mighty ship that was once a symbol of human triumph over nature had sunk, leaving behind a horrifying trail of destruction and loss. Among the wreckage, lifeboats bobbed on the icy waters of the North Atlantic. Their number was woefully inadequate, a stark testament to the complacency of an era that believed in the infallibility of technology. Of the more than 2,000 souls on board, over 1,500 lives were extinguished that fateful night, a number that could have been drastically reduced had there been enough lifeboats. Amidst the despair, a beacon of hope emerged in the form of the RMS Carpathia. Responding to Titanic's distress signals, the Carpathia arrived at the scene, plowing through ice fields and dodging icebergs. The crew worked tirelessly, hauling survivors aboard from the lifeboats, their faces a haunting mix of relief and trauma. The news of Titanic's sinking reached the shores before the Carpathia could. The world waited with bated breath, hoping against hope for survivors. When the Carpathia docked in New York with 705 survivors, the magnitude of the tragedy became apparent. The world was plunged into mourning. From the bustling streets of New York to the quiet lanes of small English towns, tears were shed for the lost souls. The sinking of the Titanic was not only a human tragedy, but also a blow to the era's faith in technology. The world reacted with shock and disbelief. How could the Unsinkable have sunk? The question echoed in every corner, a grim reminder of the hubris of mankind. Yet, amidst the sorrow and shock, the human spirit proved resilient. The disaster spurred a global conversation about maritime safety, leading to drastic changes in laws and regulations. But that is a story for another time. The world mourned the Titanic, a tragedy that would forever change maritime safety. The Titanic's demise was a wake-up call to the maritime world. It was a tragedy of such magnitude that it shook the very foundations of maritime safety and led to sweeping changes in regulations and practices. In the wake of the disaster, the world realized that the unsinkable Titanic had been woefully unprepared in the face of danger. Notably, the ship had lifeboats only for about half of the people on board. This glaring oversight spurred the creation of new lifeboat regulations. It was mandated that every passenger ship should carry enough lifeboats to accommodate every person on board. This was a significant stride towards ensuring that a tragedy like the Titanic never happened again. But the changes didn't stop there. The disaster also led to the establishment of the International Ice Patrol. Tasked with monitoring iceberg activity in the North Atlantic, this organization has been instrumental in preventing similar tragedies. They track and report icebergs, providing invaluable information to ships navigating through these treacherous waters. Then there was the Safety of Life at Sea, or SOLAS, convention held in 1914. This was a pivotal moment in maritime safety. It established a set of minimum safety standards in the construction, equipment, and operation of merchant ships. The convention was updated several times to accommodate new safety measures and technologies, but its core principles remain the same even today. All these changes were born out of the tragedy that was the Titanic. They serve as a testament to the lives lost and a pledge to do everything possible to prevent such a disaster from happening again. These measures have undeniably made the seas safer for travelers and workers alike. So, while the Titanic disaster was a devastating event, it also served as a catalyst for change. It exposed the flaws in the maritime safety of that time and led to a revolution in how we approach safety at sea. The Titanic disaster had a profound impact, leading to significant improvements in maritime safety. Even after a century, the Titanic continues to captivate and mystify. It's an enigma that has fascinated generations, from historians to marine explorers and even Hollywood directors. The Titanic isn't just a ship, it's an enduring tale of human ambition, pride, and the harsh reality of nature's indomitable force. The greatest mystery surrounding the Titanic isn't its sinking, but rather its disappearance. After the ship's tragic encounter with an iceberg on that fateful night in April 1912, the wreckage of the once magnificent ship vanished into the abyss of the North Atlantic Ocean. Over the years, numerous expeditions have been launched to locate the resting place of the Titanic, but the ship remained elusive, shrouded in the deep, dark, icy waters. The first successful expedition was led by Dr. Robert Ballard in 1985. After scouring miles of the ocean floor, the Titanic was finally found, split into two main pieces, lying more than 2 miles below the surface. The discovery was monumental, offering a glimpse into the tragic last moments of the ship and its passengers. Yet, the discovery of the wreck raised more questions than answers. The condition of the wreck, the distribution of the debris, and the absence of expected damage patterns sparked intense debate among experts. It was as if the Titanic was whispering its stories from the depths, but we had yet to fully understand its language. And so, the fascination with the Titanic endures. It's a tale that continues to be retold and reimagined through books, films, and exhibitions, but perhaps the greatest allure of the Titanic lies in its silent testament to the triumphs and tragedies of human endeavor. The Titanic, a symbol of human ambition and folly, remains one of the greatest mysteries of the 20th century.